Christine Brennan. Yes, the Christine Brennan, the one who dared to ask Dejanay Carrington about the eye poke of Caitlin Clark, which caused the Players Union of the WNBA to try and get her fired, to try and get her credentials removed from covering the WNBA, which, crazily enough, seemed like it might have actually been a possibility, especially now when we look at the fact that in the Indiana Fever revoked the credentials of Scott Agnes, the beat writer who had the longest tenure of covering the Indiana Fever. He dared to get his reporting correct, but that correct reporting was inconvenient for the Indiana Fever, who, of course, we know completely bungled the game that Caitlin Clark missed as to why she missed it and on and on. But that Christine Brennan got a chance to ask Stephanie White a question. And we are going to dig into it because there is an answer that, of course, is getting a lot of attention. But then there's other stuff that, because of that answer, is getting ignored. And I find it a lot more concerning. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. Shout out, of course, to the 19. Hope you all having a fantastic day. So let's take a listen to Stephanie White being asked a question about the fans from Christine Brennan, how she handles it, some of the other things she add into it, which kind of blew my mind, I think are actually the bigger story. So we'll dig into that. And then we're going to connect it to some ticket prices. Let's see how well this is working out.
Stephanie, here in the back. So when my neighbor comes up to me and tells me that he's so frustrated, he's yelling at the TV because he wants Caitlin to shoot more. And you see social media, of course you do, and we all do. And we see frustration if Caitlin doesn't have the ball, or if something goes wrong, or if the team doesn't play well in the fourth quarter, all those things that happen in sports. What's your answer to those fans?
I don't know that I really have an answer for the fans. I think, I have to answer to our team, and our franchise. And we're trying.
Now, before we keep going, because she goes into other stuff, but I want to address this because this was obviously the big thing for a lot of people. And you can tell in the body language, the tone, that Stephanie White does not care for the Caitlin Clark fans. She doesn't want to have to worry about what fans says. And she's obviously very, very dismissive of her fans. Now, I'm not going to go full hardcore on it's the worst answer in the world, although it is a bad answer, because there is some degree of truth to it in that if anyone fires you, it's going to be the owner, right? Or the general manager. But ultimately, yes, you do actually answer to the fans. Without fans, as the WNBA might have found out if the NBA didn't keep them afloat, there's no team, there's no league. We've seen teams fold before. We've seen leagues fold before. I've talked about it in soccer multiple times where they were on their own and we had multiple women's professional leagues in America fold completely, entire leagues, not just teams, although that happened as well. WNBA, unfortunately, did not experience that because of their connection to the NBA. Maybe they should have. So, yes, ultimately, you do answer to the fans. And the other thing that it kind of, how do I say this? Because I'm not trying to go after Christine Brennan here, but I think the phrasing could have been a little better in terms of how it was asked because, well, once I guess she did kind of allude to the fact that it just seems new because it's the WNBA and they've never had to deal with it. But this is like the daily normal stuff of all huge sports fandoms forever. I mean, I've talked about that in Philly numerous times. You can go to New York, LA Lakers, all of these things. Fans are always loud. Fans are always opinionated. Fans are going to let you know what you are doing wrong when things are not going well. That is normal. Stephanie White needs some of the media training that Caitlin Clark gets. I mean, I don't know how about, well, first of all, I love the passion that our fan base has because it means they care. And hey, I've been a fan. I'm not just a coach and an ex-player. I was a fan growing up. I get it from a fan perspective, man. We want to win. We want it to be entertaining. We want to win a certain way. And we are going to have opinions on what the coach does or what players do or don't do when things aren't going well. That is normal. And without those passionate fans, we don't have a team, we don't have an organization. And so I completely appreciate it. But obviously and honestly, I can't take in everything that every single fan says and use that in what I'm doing. It's just impossible. That might have been a better answer. But again, we know the problem is there's a vibe of Stephanie White doesn't care for these fans. But anyway, let's keep going.
Trying to win ball games. We're not trying to appease the masses.
See, again, there's that kind of derogatory, passive aggressive, slight appease the masses. Stephanie, I would put my basketball knowledge up against yours any day of the week. It might behoove you, yes, behoove, to listen to what I have to say. You might find that you get better results. But anyway,
We're trying to win ball games, and so I think for us, figuring it out on a consistent basis. Our big three are learning to play together again. With Caitlin missing as much time as she did a year ago, and finding a flow does take time. Especially when Kelsey and Aaliyah had the ball in their hands so much a year ago.
this is where I say this whew, deep breath is much worse than what she said about the fan. This is insane. First of all, we got this. How long have you been here, Stephanie White? And we're still talking about, oh, well, we got to figure it out. Well, I guess maybe we have to go back to what the fans are saying because you haven't figured it out. And you should have figured it out long ago. And then you're going to sit here and use the excuse of, well, we're still trying to figure out how Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark can play together because Caitlin missed a lot of games last year. We're 11 games into the season. That's 25% of the season. You also, correct me if I'm wrong, but especially post Olympic 2024, have I brought that up a few times? Do we all remember how well they played for that portion of the season? If you just took that portion of the season, Caitlin Clark is MVP instead of fourth. Kelsey Mitchell is top five. Maybe Aaliyah Boston too, although she's absolutely top 10. So don't give me this crap of an excuse that because Caitlin was hurt for a lot of last year, that these three are still learning how to play together because Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell had the ball in their hands a lot more last year. Well, they didn't in 2024, especially post Olympic break, because Caitlin Clark had the ball and they all played absolute fantastic. And by the way, it's not a big three. It's Caitlin Clark. I know you like to do that. It's kind of like the Sheila Johnson Time article idea, put them all on the cover. It's not a big three. It's Caitlin Clark. She's the alpha. And then you have the other two who are stars. Okay, just to be clear.
And then we've got other pieces that are trying to find their way as well. I think when you see us find continuity, you'll see what seems to be easier shot opportunities, and better shot quality. And that's
Okay, hold on. Back up. Again, you're 25% into the season. All these other teams have massive turnover as well. These are professional basketball players. I can go out and play a pickup game with guys who've been playing a while, and within 15 minutes, we've got it figured out. You want better shot selection? You want better shots? Listen to those fans that you're dismissing and have a better offensive system. Like, I don't know, read and react with Caitlin Clark, up tempo, transition, run the basketball, run the court, let Caitlin Clark do Caitlin Clark things. Every player on the court is going to elevate their game and get better shots. It's very, very simple, but you do not want to do it. You refuse to do it.
what I'm focused on is the best shot quality we can get, the best shot opportunities we can get, and how we keep that balanced enough to make sure that we stay in a rhythm and flow and be the best that we can be when we head into, September, October, and get ready for the playoffs.
Okay, again, go back to what I just said. You really want better shot selection, better shot quality. Run Caitlin Clark's read and react offense. Very, very, very simple. What was that last thing she said? I want to run this back if you all don't mind, because there was something else I wanted to talk to, and I lost it.
Shot quality we can get, the best shot opportunities we can get, and how we keep that balanced enough to make sure that we stay in a rhythm and flow and be the best that we can be.
There it is, rhythm and flow. Stop taking Caitlin Clark out 3-4 minutes into the game. That would help with flow. Don't play 11 players in the first quarter. That would help with flow and continuity. You're exposing yourself as unknowledgeable with these comments, which is giving legitimacy and justification to the way the fans are reacting to the way that you are coaching. Man, this is not rocket science. It's absolutely driving me crazy. I've got so much more to talk about. I saw something else that I saw about the media, of course, trashing content creators, for lack of a better term, like myself. Uh, it's really a trip, but it made me think about all these questions I've mentioned on videos and stuff about things that the media should be asking Stephanie White and they aren't. So I'm going to do an entire video on that instead of drawing this out and adding a few of them. But last thing I wanted to add, and shout out to Coach Anderson. He actually sent this to me, messaged this to me like literally 30 seconds before I started doing this video. So I wanted to put it on the end because it kind of tacks on to what Stephanie White is saying about the fans and, hey, we don't answer to the fans. Well, check this out. The cost of two blizzards from Dairy Queen now costs more than an Indiana Fever ticket. People aren't interested in paying to watch your Con Sun style offense that is ranked 9 in offensive rating. The market yells. Yeah, there you go. Section 210, row 22, $10.71. Row 6, $10.71. Row 15, another section, all the twos, $10.71. This is for an Indiana Fever game, which just goes to things I've always said about attendance. I talk about context, right? Okay, oh, this team sold out. Okay, how many fans are a sellout? But then also, what is the actual, to me, a much more important number? What's the revenue from the ticket sales? What is the revenue from the ticket sales? Because even 5,000 tickets, at, I don't know, $1,000 a pop, more impressive than 10,000 tickets at $50 a pop. Understand? See the difference? Economics, basic economics. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of wild in the timing. I wanted to throw that in because that is insane to have that. Maybe Stephanie White should start doing a little listening to some other people outside of her circle. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. I will talk to you later.